there is a new there is a new Instagram Lite app which has gone live. Have you seen that one?
I heard about
So
it like last week. Someone said something about Instagram Lite, but what is it?
So it seems that Facebook and Instagram, well, obviously it is all Facebook, but it seems like they've been launching versions of a Lite app, which are generally they're targeted at emerging markets. So and mostly Android phones. So they're trying to launch a lighter weight version of the traditional apps that take up less space on your computer or your device, I suppose. So the standard size for for Instagram is 30 megabytes, and this new app is down to 2 megabytes, which is actually slightly larger than the old one because the old one was under a megabyte in size. But this is an entirely new architecture, supposedly built on an internal Facebook platform called Blocks. So the previous one I think was a progressive web app. The new one, this is going from this is from a TechCrunch article as well, actually. So you can go and take a little look at that. But essentially, it's built on an internal platform called Blocks, and it has most of the features in it, which I was surprised by. So it's not just you might imagine from a Lite thing that they would be focusing on, say, just Reels, like the competitor to TikTok, but actually, it seems to be most of the functionality, including creating all of the videos. They seem to have slimmed the app down actually by removing the ability to create a reel, which may be short-sighted, or in terms of a product set, probably not in terms of the difficulty it is to create that functionality lightweight in a lightweight application. But you'd think that would be the most popular portion of it, especially with TikTok being a competitor.
Yeah, but that's very it's video, and it's very just like 15 seconds. It's very just it's going to consume a lot of data probably.
Yeah, so seemingly the things that they've taken out of it are things like shopping mode. They've taken out dark mode. They've taken out end-to-end encryption, although actually reading this article, it seems that end-to-end encryption isn't in the main app anyway. But yeah, they've taken out adverts as well, which is actually quite nice. I think that's always a good thing. But I think it's interesting that they're going after a lightweight version of the app. I think my main question would be, does this mean that there is a newer version of the whole app coming at some point, which may slim down things a little further?
Could be some interesting learnings from that light version that they think, actually, you know what, let's bring that into the main version.
Well, yes, I mean, these things tend to happen, don't they? So, there's been plenty of examples in the past where, you target trying to, say, for example, deliver a better customer experience to a certain type of user. So there are examples of Marks and Spencer trying to meet a disability standard, making the aisles wider and making it easier to browse those aisles. And actually, all shoppers, funnily enough, found that easier to browse. So, I think this is the thing. If you target just making a better customer experience, you can make it better for everybody. And making it light is going to be great because, for people who've not got as much memory on their smartphones, well, they can store more photos and more other things on their smartphones, more apps. Apps take up a hell of a lot of space, especially on older phones and with less memory.
There's actually I thought this was going to be, when I first heard it, I thought this was going to be a similar thing that Twitter did. So Twitter, they allow you, when you add their website to your home screen, that actually is a progressive web app, which is super light. It doesn't download images, and I thought it would have been like a version like that, which to me sounds like the better way to go. But maybe they needed some sort of hardware acceleration to warrant having a native app. But Twitter have a Twitter Lite, and you just add it to your home screen, and then it's, like I say, a progressive web app.
Well, it seems like this was a progressive web app, and they've dialed it back from that, which is interesting because I'm curious to know where the world goes with progressive web apps, because they don't seem to have had quite the take up that you'd expect them to.
Yeah.
I think there's still an argument about is the best way to deliver mobile content. Should it be an app form? Should it be in a progressive web app form? Should they be native? There's so many questions, I think, around apps still. And I think it will continue to bounce backwards and forwards over the years because, we've never settled on anything as a standard.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think it's just the average consumer thinks, I want an app, I'm going to go to the app store. They don't know about that add to home screen, which is where progressive web apps really get their power from when you've added them to the home screen or
I don't think it's just the average consumer. I think it's the average company says, I want an app.
Oh yeah, there's that true, but from my perspective, I think progressive web apps will be fine for most scenarios and easier to roll out updates, all the rest of it. But like I say, people just think, I want an app, I must go to the app store. They don't even have a clue what a progressive web app is or just a web app. They just don't know what that is. It's not, there's not enough education.
I agree. And I actually think that the progressive web app, I think, is one of the hardest. I think that must be a little bit of a hard thing to understand as a consumer, because you kind of only know that there's an app once you've got to a page and it says, would you like to download this as an app? It's not something you can go to the app store to download, can you? Or am I thinking that, or can you actually? Have I missed that?
Download what? Sorry?
You can't download a progressive web app from the app store, can you?
No. It's only through the website. It's done all through the website.
I had a little moment of doubt there because I clearly haven't had enough coffee. But I think that's a weird thing. It must be a very difficult thing to understand as a consumer. If you were going out looking for a particular app, you're not going to find it in the app store, but you go to the website and it tells you can download it as an app. That's a bit strange, bit of an odd experience.